Good morning, true crime friends. We're back here again. Wait. Who am I without a cup of coffee? Child, I need a cup of coffee. First thing in my... Oh, look, I'm wearing my other M&M shirt today. She's a little happier. Anyway. So look, first things first, please hit the like button. I like you. If you like me, hit the little like button down below. And you may notice that I'm wearing my glasses today. I don't normally wear my glasses because, number one, I'm vain. Normally when I'm talking to you, oh, the crown is falling off. Okay, whatever. Normally when I'm talking to you, blind as a bat. I do all of this from memory because I can't see my notes. But listen, the Taylor Schabusiness final wrap-up case, she was found not guilty. I mean, she was found not insane. Oh, she's guilty. She's very, very guilty. But she was found not cray-cray. So look, I'm going to break it all down for you, but I had notes because the nice psychology people, they had a lot of things to say. And I need to review and also offer my opinion. So this is what happened. Taylor was found guilty. Oh, and the other reason I don't like my glasses is because you can see my ring light in them and vanity. Okay, so look. Taylor was found guilty of unaliving and disassembling poor Shad over there, right? And so we were like, oh, poor Shad, that's terrible. Here's the thing now. I get the feeling, call me crazy, I get the feeling that neither one of these folks, if left to their own devices, were going to live a real long time. And here is the basis for my theory. Mental health concerns and drug use combined, that's not good. That don't go good. So I just really had the feeling that this was going to end badly for both of them. And it kind of did. Like, maybe Shad is no longer suffering. I mean, yes, he was suffering at the hands of young Taylor, but I also get the feeling he was kind of suffering in his life. His little brain might have been scrambled a little bit. And also, this whole situation will serve as a warning to others, especially to old AJ over there, their friend who they thought was a black guy, who's not really a black guy, because just because you have brown skin, that'll make you black, that makes you brown, but that's another conversation for another day. So look, none of this should have happened. None of this should have happened to any of these people. And it's terrible and it's heartbreaking. But since it did happen, well, we're going to have to discuss it because that is what we do. We get together in the morning, we have a little cup of coffee, we drink out of our gossip, rumor, and innuendo mugs, and then we talk gossip, rumors, and innuendo. So look. And if you're looking for facts, child, I suggest that you go to Reuters or something like that. You're not here for facts. We have established this long before now. We're not here for facts. We're just here to get together as girlfriends and have a little kiki. Even if you're a man, you still my girlfriend. I'm just letting you know. Okay, so look. Yesterday, in the Taylor Schabusiness case, it was a battle of the psychologists. There was 3 of them. First, the state brought on this lady. Oh, she was weird. She was delightfully weird. I kind of loved her. She was as wacky as they come. And so here's the thing about her. She was real soft and mushy, and she very much, now, as a psychologist, you could tell, like, you want her to be your therapist. She's probably just as nuts as you are, or has a long history of mentally unbalanced people in her family. And she was like soft and fluffy, right? Very just like, I understand. You think Smurfs are running through this room right now? Okay, maybe we can redirect and talk less about the Smurfs. But if you need to talk about them, that's okay. This woman was in her early hundreds. She was old. Not to age shame, because, child, I'm in my early 90s. But this lady was in her early hundreds, and she's seen a lot of things over a long period of time, and she's used to dealing with the criminally insane. Okay, good for you. Okay. She advocated for them. She hears them. She understands them. You can tell she feels them deeply, deeply in her heart, and she wants what's best for them. And they were like, well, did it bother you that Taylor tried to hit you? She was like, I've been beat up by better people than her. There was this one time when, oh, you don't want me to tell my story about the time. Well, suffice to say, I've been beat up a lot. It's just part of the job. Ma'am, I'm going to need you to raise your standards just a scotch. You can still help the people over there at the nervous hospital, but maybe you want to, like, have them not beat you up. Or have a bodyguard, or chain them down and have a nice little relaxing talk with them. Because getting beat up on the job, no, that's not a thing. That's not a thing. But she's been around hospitals for a long time. She mentioned being a candy striper, and I was like, ma'am, you're old. Do they still have candy stripers? You know how I know she's old? Because I was a candy striper. For the uninitiated, back in the day, well, this is how I found out about candy stripers. There was an episode of Laverne and Shirley where they became hospital volunteers. Back in the day, hospital volunteers were referred to as candy stripers because you wore a jacket that was like red and white striped. And I think in the olden days, the girls used to like sew the jackets themselves. Well, when I was there, it was a jacket. At one time, it was a pinafore, like a little vested thing with ruffles or whatever. You just wore an outfit that was profoundly unattractive and never had you looking like a hospital volunteer. Nobody was like, is that my doctor in the candy stripes? No, 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 no. Is that my nurse? No, that's a volunteer in her crazy behind looking jacket. But I was so proud of my jacket. I saw Laverne and Shirley. That's a sitcom from the 70s or 80s, possibly the 70s. Be a candy striper, and they were like goofing off in the hospital and doing whatever. And I was like, oh, I want to be a candy striper. Oh, I wanted to be a candy striper so bad. And my sister was a candy striper, and then I got to be a candy striper where I pushed the library cart and I went to all the wards and I gave all the people books, all the ones who wanted books. And then I refilled water jugs. It was thrilling. I loved it so much. I don't know why now, but when I first learned to drive, the first place I drove, I would drive myself to the hospital and put on my little candy striper thing, and I would go help the people in the hospital. Mostly I just wanted to see the new babies and the moms, but I loved being a candy striper. All of that to say, this woman claims that she's been reading hospital records since she was 14 or 15 as a candy striper. Ma'am, candy stripers don't read hospital records. Now, they might see this is Mr. Smith's room 242 or whatever. That's about as many hospital records as you read as a candy striper. But it varies from place to place, so I don't know. Anyway, I was struck by the fact that she said she was reading medical records as a candy striper. Lady, now you just messed up your whole credibility. The fact that you're a little bit scattered in the brain, that didn't put me off. I personally enjoyed that part of it. But then the line of this entire situation, there's a test for malingering. Now look, malingering just means faking. I don't know why they have that fancy word for it, but malingering is a test where they say like, okay, you say you have a headache. How bad is your headache on a scale of 1 to 10? And then the patient says, it's a 65. And they go, gotcha, because headache is not a symptom of the thing I'm testing you for. That's malingering, right? So there's this test called the MMPI, something like that. It's a test for malingering. And they said, did you administer the test for malingering? And she was like, I don't need no test. I have been doing this for 100 years and I read records as a candy striper. And so I know what I'm doing. And I was like, I like that line. I don't need no test. It's like if somebody says, did you verify these facts? I don't need no test. I verified it because I saw it with my eyes on the YouTube. What more could I possibly need? So this lady was very sympathetic to young Tay Tay. And they were like, okay, how long have you been doing this? She's like 1,000 years. Okay, great. You've been doing this 1,000 years. I may have rounded up, but I'm just saying she was doing it for a long time. Okay, terrific. And they said, you know how they do with the experts. How much are you being paid? And she's like, I do this for good vibes and kind wishes. So I don't know. They will throw me a bowl of gruel and some smiles, and I will consider that payment in full. I am just here for my patients. Okay, ma'am. Thanks so much for sharing. She only testifies on behalf of people who could possibly get found criminally insane. And so she answered both sides, and then she carried her little crazy behind her interesting behind on out of there. Oh, but here's the thing. There's this hospital in Wisconsin called Nicolay, something like that. That's such a pretty name for a hospital. Like, if it weren't a criminal hospital, then I would want to go there because it sounds like a resort. But something tells me that since it's I said criminal hospital, it's a mental hospital. I do not want to go to the mental hospital on vacation, although if I needed to go to the mental hospital on vacation, I surely would go. I am not opposed to a mental hospital. Child, those things save people's lives. And let me tell you, I have visited people at the nervous hospital, and the one that I went to was delightful. It was here in New York City, over there at the Lenox Hill. I had a friend who was unwell. And so we went to visit her. We sat in the lobby. We had a chitty chat. They fed us graham crackers. It was nice. I was like, oh, and you didn't have to buy nothing. In New York City, child, every time you sit down, they're like, thank you. Well, you're going to need to buy something if you sit here. And I was like, we could just sit here and have graham crackers for free and drink cups of coffee. No Starbucks pricing, because I was young and I was broke. My friend was very, very having a hard time. And I was like, okay. And I was having a hard time because I was poor. And I was like, we can't be sitting in these local diners and stuff because coffee is 50 cents and I ain't got that spare quarters roaming around. So I rather enjoyed my visit to the locked ward over there at what was the name of the hospital? On York Avenue. You know the one. Anyway, I think I mentioned it, but the name of it is Lenox Hill. Delightful mental hospital, but that's just my opinion. So look, then they got this very serious man up here. Now, the interesting lady, she testified for the defense, for Tay Tay. Now, the state was like, we call a very serious man who looks like he has some common sense and might be part robot. I think he got like maybe a little robot in his family on his daddy's side. He was not playing. He was dead serious. He had no time for Taylor's mess. They were like, did you interview Taylor Schabusiness? He was like, yes, I interviewed Miss Schabusiness and I administered the test for malingering. That heifer's faking. He didn't say it like that, but you know, words to that effect. And then they said, okay. And when she reported that, like, oh no, he didn't administer the test for malingering, because it became very clear to him that, she was like, you know, exaggerating her symptoms. And so when she's like, oh, there's a green train and it's distracting me and a whistle is blowing in my head, where the weird lady was like, really? Who's riding the green train? This dude was like, I'm going to take a silent pause and give you a minute, and then I'm going to keep asking you these very serious questions. And I suspect, based on my long history of being a communicator, that Taylor was just mirroring the examiner who was in front of her. My opinion, based on absolutely nothing, but the lady who was like, tell me more about your crazy symptoms. Oh, well, Taylor just like spun a thread. She was just like, oh, yes. And then this dude was like, yeah, girl, anyway, tell me about your childhood. Tell me about... He just ignored her, and she cut all that out because she realized that was not working for her. If you ever work with children, or if you ever had children, you have a child that going crazy, and you're like, I'll wait. This dude did the like grown-up version of I'll wait. Then he waited, and then he carried on with the rest of his examination, and he made it abundantly clear he was not here for her mess. Now, the soft, fluffy lady interviewed Taylor for like 100,000 hours. I don't know. I may have rounded. But this dude was like, I met with her twice for 90 minutes each time. She behaved appropriately. She answered my questions. And my finding is that when she's high, when you use a lot of drugs, it will make you be temporarily insane. But prior to this incident, I don't think she was temporarily insane. I think the meth made her crazy. Isn't that why people take meth? Like, seriously, can we call it meth? Unclear. Okay, whatever. But you know what I'm talking about. Can you take that particular narcotic? Does taking that narcotic make you a little insane in the membrane? I'm a vote yes, because obviously you saw what she did. Yeah. And she had multiple drug intoxication. She has cigarettes, bad for your health, marijuana, cocaine, and methamphetamine. That's a lot. And I think they were also drinking, but her drug of choice was she wasn't really into the alcohol. So she couldn't blame it on the alcohol. She could blame it on the meth. So I'm just like, okay, it is my opinion that people take that particular narcotic so they can be out of their minds. But usually like fun out of your mind, not murdery out of your mind. She just like took being out of her mind a little too far. Also, this guy determined that like when she has periods of sobriety, she does well. And so even her father showed up and testified to that, child. We're going to have to talk about her daddy because, anyway. So, but the very serious dude is like, yeah, when she's not using street narcotics, she has some mental health concerns, but she's not profoundly mentally ill. So maybe she should stop using that narcotic and then she won't be profoundly mentally ill. Done and done. Do you have more questions? He didn't have time for nobody's mess. And I was here for him too. I was like, oh, well, I like this dude as much as I like the weird lady. And then the third lady got up. Now, the third lady, also very serious, also was just like, I take my job very seriously. I'm not that wild-haired fluffy lady who was in here before, and I will give you very succinct medical-sounding medical things. Here's the thing about her. They were like, when did you meet with Taylor? Oh, I met with her on this date and that date. How long did you meet with her? I passed her one time in the hallway, and I got a vibe, and now I wrote this report. Ma'am, I understand that you take your job very seriously. You probably have a lot of mentally unbalanced people to talk to and deal with. That's terrific. But we're going to need you to meet with her for more than 15 minutes, because this woman met with her for a teensy little short period of time and came to the same conclusion as the doctor who didn't have time for her mess. The doctor who didn't have time for her mess, do I know his name? No, because you're not here for facts. You're not here for names. You're here for my opinion and the gossip and the rumor and the innuendo. So the last lady was just like, yes, I passed her once in the hall. Her vibe seemed to me like blah, blah, blah. I agree with the guy who has credibility. Not that the first lady didn't have credibility. She has some. I liked her personality. I would want to sit next to her at a party. Maybe I would even want her as my therapist. Not sure. But am I taking her word for it? Yeah, but with a pinch of salt. Because she was a little, hanging out with all those unbalanced people. Does it rub off on you? I don't think mental illness is contagious. I think that is a good, kind woman who means well, who advocates for her patients, but she's a little bit nuts. No shade to people who I'm a little bit nuts. You might be a little bit nuts. That's fine, but that's not what you want in your courtroom. All of that to say, the consensus of the doctors were like, she was nuts before, she was not nuts before, meth made her nuts. Everybody agreed to that. That narcotic took her right on out of her mind. But before even the doctor showed up, Taylor's daddy showed up. Now, there is a population of humans out here who have daddies who ain't ish, right? Taylor is one of those people who got a daddy who ain't ish. You know what I mean? The little swirly pile of poop, he ain't even that. This man, they were like, her father, Mr. Coronado, Arturo Coronado, will appear. Okay, come on in, Mr. Coronado. Why was I crazy enough to think they was going to have him in a nice suit and some hard bottom shoes and like a good haircut? He showed up and he was just like, you hear, chink, chink, chink. I was like, Jacob Marley? Like, what? Is that the ghost of Christmas past? Who is coming in here? And so he shuffles on in his prison slides in a nice bright orange outfit. Oh, prison attire. Okay. Speeding ticket? Something tells me it was not for a speeding ticket. He had chains on his hands. He had chains on his feet. And I believe his hands were chained to his waist. Oh, okay. We did not address his attire. We did not address the entire prison situation at all. But he was like, sat down. And they were like, sir, they asked him some question. And I don't remember her lawyer's name. Let's say her lawyer's name was Sam. Then the lawyer asked her something. He was like, Sam, you know me. You know the answer to that question. Sir, you're in court. Clearly, you are familiar with the judicial system. So you should know you should use some decorum. But since you are in prison for 12 years, from what I hear, you probably don't have that much respect anyway. So you just sitting up here talking all crazy. That seems right. That seems right about like something you would do. So how can I say what he's in prison for? Child, this case, this trial has really, really tested my use of creative language on the fly. He has a Josh Duggar type situation happening. He was accused of being inappropriate with his own child, for starters. And by his own child, I mean Taylor. He had inappropriate. He made Taylor his wife after his wife died, even though Taylor was like 11 or 12. For starters. Then, on top of that, he had some other non-consensual partners who were under the age of consent. That covers it. But he had very strong feelings about drug use. Sir, I don't think you have a whole lot of standing, considering now the jury did not find out you were there for your being a Pedialyte, but we know you a Pedialyte. The rest of us out here, we got the internet and eyes and the ability to read above a second grade level. So, we know you were like a kitty diddler, child. You can't say nothing to me. You need to go and chink yourself right on back over there to the prison. But since you are here under subpoena, why was they subpoenaing this dude? Oh, could you please spring him from the big house, but keep a gun trained on him at all times? Like, certain things run in your family. Maybe like wavy hair runs in your family. Going to prison and using drugs and being inappropriate runs in their family strong. Her mom died when Taylor was only 11. Lord only knows where she died from. Mr. Arturo, the daddy, he had fond feelings. She was feeling sick and she went to bed and she laid down and then I smothered her. Now, that's not what he said. That's what I decided happened. But if it happened like that, wouldn't surprise me at all. Did her mother pass away from multiple drug intoxication? Possibly. We don't know. But Taylor has a brother, dead. The dude who was sitting behind her who looked just like her, apparently that was not her brother. Maybe that was a cousin or something, because her brother died last year in a motorcycle accident. Y'all having a bad year. I'm just saying. This is not a family that I would want to be a part of. But I will watch them on my TV and feel comfortable that they say that they are tucked safely in jail over there, not near me, not even in the same county, praise God, not even in the same state. They like a couple of time zones away. That's about the kind of distance I need between me and them. But I don't want to be seen as like prejudice against those who are criminally insane, regularly insane, Pedialytes, people going to jail, and narcotics enthusiasts. Those are not my people, though. Y'all are my people. Like me and you, we hang out and have a little chat about it. Y'all are my people. Them, not so much. But listen, before I let you go, we need to have a little talk about mental illness, right? So mental illness, not a laughing matter, very serious situation, right? I have relatives very close to me who have lived with and suffered from mental illness. Some have died from mental illness. To me, mental illness is not a laughing matter. Now, will I make a joke about it? Oh, yes, it will. Do I take Effexor every morning? 37.5 milligrams, honey. That mess keeps me straight and on the narrow, and I'm doing everything I'm supposed to do. But mental illness, depression, anxiety, bipolar, all of that. It's not a laughing matter. It's a serious situation that people live with, including yours truly. But here's the thing. I ain't killed nobody. Who knew I was even going to live this long? Listen, when I was 25, when I was Taylor's age, I was out there doing the most. Not criminally. Now, morally, child, it's a good thing they don't have prison for moral crimes, because I was out here dropping it low and spreading it wide. Let me be the first to tell you. And on top of all of my time as a garden tool, I was loading my body full of all kinds of illicit substances. I'm not sure if those were narcotics. I'm not sure what classification they fall into. If you want to know the truth, and the organic mental illness, the anxiety, depression, bipolar, all that other stuff that was going on, when you layer like drugs and alcohol on top of it, it don't go good. It don't go good, and it's not fun. It's not funny. It's suffering on an extraordinary level. But there is treatment and there is help and there is hope. As example, by me, aren't I a delight? I mean, seriously. So the mental illness, like we get on here and we kiki about every single thing. But the mental illness piece, that's not funny to me. That's serious. But I feel like I'm in the position to know a little something and to understand a little something about that life and, medication, self-care, whatever. Doing what you need to do to get your mental health together, child. You better get it done. Get out here and you don't want to be a Taylor. Listen, you don't take care of your mental health. You be neighbors with Tay Tay over there at the nervous hospital. And we don't want to go to the nervous hospital. We visit people at the nervous hospital and eat their free graham crackers and drink their coffee. Oh, yes, we will. We'll do that all day long. But then when the hour gets late, we're like, oh, for my good mental health, I got to get a lot of sleep. So I'm going to need to get on out of here. Can you please unlock this door and let me out so I can go to my house? All of that to say, drink your water, get plenty of sleep, get some exercise, take your medication, whatever it is. Don't you want to have a great life? I think you want to have a great life. I also hope you have a great day. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe, and I will talk to you soon. Bye.